Got my man, Mr. Rotimi. What's going on, brother?
What's up, big dog?
How's everything, man?
Everything's beautiful, man.
I saw recently on your Instagram, it was Nigerian Independence Day. Was that like yesterday, 2 days ago?
Sunday, yeah.
So you was out here like, yo, you're really proactive in the forefront, and there's like a real kind of movement, just like where Africa is, you know, kind of resurging. I'm gonna say resurging, like y'all ain't been nowhere, but you know what I mean? Like just culturally, I feel like it's being accepted differently.
Yeah, you know, I think people are realizing, one, how much talent is in Africa, you know, and the culture is so rich, and I'm happy that people aren't ignorant anymore. Like,
right.
Before it used to be Africa.
African booty scratches. Remember that back in the day?
Animals running around in the living room, and it's like, nah, we just fly. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that are taken here are from Africa. Right. A lot of the swag, a lot of the clothing, a lot of the even the musical sound. So the fact that it's coming, you know, to the forefront is a beautiful thing, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I think also just with Africa, I know you worked on Wale's album. You had that Thank God actually was serious, bro. That hook. Talk about that, man. How did, I guess, just that kind of come to pass, like you being on his album?
So me and Wale's, you got like industry friends, and then you got like your people in the industry you really rock with. I really rock with Wale, man, because good dude, man, very, very passionate person, and he likes taking risks, man. He took a risk on me. The record was actually written by BJ Chicago Kid.
Oh wow.
And he was like, yo, let's see what you could do on it, bro. Let's see. And
we y'all in the studio together?
We were in the studio together. And I was coming to just check his album. Vibe, and then I went in, man, and then it was just a magical moment. Like I did the record in like 2 takes. Right. And it was done. And again, when you're young and coming up in this industry, man, like you need people that are established and have broken down some doors to kind of say, yo, here, check this out. I want you to, here's this for you. So he put me on his tour. We did a couple dates together right before the tour I just did. But, when people believe in you, man, you got to deliver. He definitely believes in me.
How do you feel like, I guess, they took to you just initially, like, right? Because I guess there's always that balance between like, oh, that's the actor or that's the singer. Like, so how, when you kind of first was on the tour, how did they kind of take to everything?
Well, when it first, it was like, okay, let me see what you can do. Yeah. And then when I do what I do, it's like, oh, he does this for real. Right. So, and the misconception is that I'm now trying to do music, and it's a funny thing is like I've been doing music. I've been playing the violin. I've been playing the keys. I've been singing in the gospel choir when I was a kid. Right. I've done all that, and acting just came. It was one of those things where a couple years ago, like I was coming out of college and I was doing tours, and I didn't have enough money to survive off of that. So my manager at the time was like, look, bro, you really gotta figure out how we're gonna get some bread. And literally like my first audition, I booked. But it was a major role for this TV show called Boss that I did. So I got booked not knowing what the hell acting was. So my first episode was literally them explaining, all right, so this is where you stand, this is the mark, this is camera left, camera right. That was just my...
So you never acted before? That was your first?
That was my first. Wow. That was my first. I was thrown into the acting
world.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so hold on. Let's go back there. Since you're thrown in here, we gonna get the final all that. We already know. Yeah. Leaving that, and you're in school now. I know you went to school in Newark?
I went to school in South Orange, New Jersey.
South Orange, Jersey. Yeah. So like, I know there was a couple. Lauren Hill went there.
Yeah, Lauren Hill went there.
You and SZA was at the same time, right?
At the same time.
Were y'all cool then at that time?
That was my G, bro. Yeah. Like
don't try to like that was my G.
No, that was my G. We was cool. We was cool. No, because we all kicked it. You know what I mean? And she was actually dating one of my best friends at the time. Okay. So like I always would see her, and we always hang out, and I was on the ball team, so like he played on my team, so she was always at the games, and she was just cool. She really kept to herself, and she would be like, yo, bro, check this out, like listen to this, like listen to that. It was never like, I didn't think it was gonna be what she is now.
She was singing back then too?
She was singing back then, but she was on the low about it. I was the one that was in the talent show.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We had the school going crazy, so she was more like the quiet one that like you knew she could sing, but you didn't know really how far she
could go. So you in the talent shows, you singing the national anthem and playing at the same time?
I was a cold motherfucker, bro. It was playing in the game, doing the national anthem.
Starting point guard Rotimi. Yeah. National anthem Rotimi. I like that. Okay.
You know what I mean? It was that, man. Like, I literally had the mindset that while I'm here on this earth, I want to be great at everything. Yeah. I want everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's like my motto. My mom literally like, and my parents literally like, helped me with that.
Interesting, man. I think one of the things like coming up in just the entertainment world, I think everyone has that point where they're like, they know what they want to do and they don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I listened to a story. I heard you tell a story that you were in a group with like Rel, Carter, like the Carter nephews. You know what I'm saying? And y'all kind of had like a group going on. And what was that? Like, how did that whole situation even come together?
So the Carters, Jay-Z's nephews. So we were in high school. We all went to the same high school.
Okay.
And with Mel Carter, Rel, Spanky, Ravel, all of them, they were rappers. And my man J. Dot.
Rel, I didn't know that. I'm gonna come holler at you after this.
Yeah. So they were all rappers, man. And what happened was they needed a singer. So it was me and this songwriter who's amazing, Sam Hook.
Okay.
So we all were in the air. So we were all in the group together. So Hov would make us come to his penthouse in the city and open up his living room, and literally we'd have to perform in front of him.
Wow.
So he would be like, "Yo, I love your voice, bro. I love your voice."
So that you just had the opportunity to kind of just test out all the shit y'all was doing with Hov, and he's giving y'all feedback.
Feedback.
Well, that's priceless,
that's
bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Super crazy.
Crazy. So like, and that was my 17th birthday. Like that was when I was 17, like learning from one of the greatest of all time. So yeah, it was dope.
I like that. So I went back and I listened to the resume tape. You know what I mean? We did our homework over here at rapradar.com. Was that around the same time?
That was around the same time. That was the first time I had gone like solo, like solo as an artist. Because I moved to Chicago for school. Okay. So I was doing it on my own at that point. So while they stayed in Jersey.
It's dope just to even see the growth musically, right? Because like I said, I listened to the resume. That's early, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it's whack. I ain't saying it's whack. It was a little rough. It was a little rough. Like Mr. Maserati, it was a little rough. But now, I'm gonna keep it 100. It's cigar talk right here. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
When we transition from the resume to Jeep music, dog, you can see like there's a tangible growth that you can hear, you can feel that. Were you in college when you
I was in college when I dropped that.
Right.
And so that was like my senior year, I think it was.
Okay. So now you went to Northwestern.
Yeah.
That's a real, like that's academic. Like let me put my tie. That's not just like I'm going to college.
No, that's
a real. Yeah. You feel me? When you went there, like as an entertainer, as the mindset of I want to be in entertainment, how were you able to focus on academics? Like at that point, like kind of juggling, that world with, I'm trying to get on and...
Yeah, man. I didn't sleep, bro. Yeah. Like, I'll be on the train I'll take the L. I'll get on the train, bro, and I'll be studying for my final on my way to an open mic. Then after the open mic, while I'm waiting for them to call me up, I'm doing my homework. So that was kind of what it was. But Northwestern, man, like it prepared me for like life. So I had to like culturally open my mind to other things. Whereas like, okay, now I got a band. Okay, I can add a little rock and roll in this, and that sounds kind of cool. Or just like, all right, if they're not vibing to this, let me start singing a little bit more like that to incorporate to my style. Yeah. So it made me evolve as a musician, but I grew up fast because you'll be like, there'll be times we'll be performing and like nobody's clapping after it because it was so different for them, you know? So it's like, how do I adjust, And that was when I was like, I either sink or swim because that wasn't the reaction I wanted. But now, okay, let me implement it, and now we're winning everything that's happening at Northwestern, you know what I mean? So it was a growing moment for me, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
What was your kind of approach musically from, Rotimi the Resume and Rotimi Jeep Music?
I think that Rotimi the Resume was still trying to figure out who the hell Rotimi was. You know what I mean? Like, Rotimi Jeep Music, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly my sound. I know exactly the records that made sense for me. And with 50 gave me the green light. And 50 basically told me, he was like, listen, if you're going to do this for real, bro, you got to tell stories that really you've lived. Like, tell your story. Don't try to listen to this artist and conform to what they do. Be true to yourself. And that was probably the illest musical like advice I could have ever gotten. And so I said, what really hit me hard, and that was that relationship. When I was in school, I had a relationship that was kind of toxic for me, you know. But again, you're growing and learning. You know, it's like I told you, I came up on money quick as soon as I got out of school because I had boss. Yeah. So then now you're a celebrity in Chicago. So
is
now,
she with you at this point?
No. Oh, now?
No, like at that time.
Yeah, she was with me through all of it.
Through Power? At Power?
The beginning of Power.
So she just missed the. Damn. Right.
Yeah. But it was like one of those things where like for 5 years off and on, you're learning so much about yourself as a man in a relationship, and then you're seeing like, okay, this didn't work, so I had to write about it. Not a lot of people write about, okay, damn, this is what happened when I got cheated on. Damn, okay, all we do is fight, fuss, and fuck. Yeah. Damn, all we do is this and this. Oh, let's go on a vacation. Like, nobody is vulnerable enough to write stuff like that, you know? So I wanted it to be true, and that's what people are gravitating towards, man. Like, just the realness of it.
100%. The Want More record, bro.
Yeah.
That's...
Thank you, brother.
That's hitting, and it has that... the Afro beats kind of reggae vibe, and you got Cranium on there as the feature. How did that kind of come about? Were you guys in the studio together and just caught a vibe?
Nah, man. You know, again, it was just the stars aligning, man. Like, I have a writer, Jerome, from Atlanta, and he's one of the most talented people, man. He was like, bro, I got this idea, dog, that like you can either rock with it or not. Tell me if it's whack. And all he did was, every time you walk away, there's something extra. Call me when you want more. And I was just like, yo, that's a smash, dog. Right. Just from that part, I was like, so I had to do an interview, and then I came back and he had the song halfway done. So I was like, and mind you, the deadline to my project was in 3 days. So I went to Atlanta and we had the record halfway done. This was the last record on the project. The project was already almost turned in.
Okay.
So then I had to go back to Atlanta, and I'm like, dog, we should have finished that song. I feel like that was going to be the one that's going to set things off. And there was no way we could have finished it because I had to leave. Yeah. So then I randomly call him. I'm like, hey, bro, like, what you up to? He was like, oh, I'm on my way to New York. I got a session with this girl. I'm like, you coming to New York tomorrow? He was like, yeah. I was like, wow. So the day before my deadline.
He happened to come.
We finished the project, finished the record. And then we got the song done. My team was like, no more records, bro. No.
Oh, nah. You gonna have to push
I'm about to Dre out. I said, yo, I don't care what y'all talking about. This has to go on my project.
100%.
And they finally listened, and when they heard it done, that was crazy. So then, Cranium, my manager just happens to be cool with his manager.
Yeah.
So Pee-wee, shout out to Pee-wee, man. He made that happen. So then we go to the studio, and in the studio, he comes in, bro, and literally lays his verse in 2 minutes.
What?
One take.
He wrote this before he came?
No. He didn't know what the song was about.
Oh.
He was like, just explain to me before you put the record on. I said, okay. Put the beat on.
You just went in and...
Why don't you wait for me, baby?
I'm in this like...
Yeah, I was in there too. It was literally like that, bro. It literally was that vibe. And that's how I knew it was special, because there was no effort.
Yeah. Organic.
He literally went in and did it one time, and that was it. That was what stayed. Right. You know, and that's just God, man. So we just shot the video. It's gonna be crazy.
Where? Can you give me a location?
No, in Brooklyn.
Oh, in Brooklyn. I shot in Brooklyn.
It's so ill, bro.
Nice. Well, we're looking forward to that. We're gonna have to get the Rap Radar preview for that on the website. Absolutely. Nah, that's dope. Now, kind of transition, like I said, we got this, Jeep Music project, which, like I said, when you hear it, like, it's an amazing body of work.
Thank you, man.
But then we got Dre from Power, who's taking over the game, the airwaves. It's crazy, dog. Yeah. Like, first of all, I hope you've been saving up, because they about to kill you this season. I hope it's a wrap for you this season. They all coming for you. I hope your checks are saved up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But all right, so let's just even, before we get into the actual show, like, talk to me about the audition process, right? Like, when you went in there, and you're like, I got this audition for Power. Paint the picture for me.
I paint it. So at that time, I was in a dark place, musically and as an actor. I didn't even want to do it because I had been going through bad management. I had a bad situation at my agency. I had records I couldn't get. I was in a bad relationship at the time, so everything was just so heavy, man. Like, and then I was going for these auditions, and I was getting so close, and everything was just, I was promised certain things that never happened. So it was just like, is this what the industry is? Like, I don't like this,
Right.
So then my agent said, Ro just trust the process, and he was like, there's this show called Power that's having an audition. So once I got all of those things out of my life,
right,
the first audition was Power.
Okay.
So the first thing I heard was like, yo, but you got to fly yourself to LA and put yourself on tape before you can even step in the room. They're not doing that for you, so you got to come out your pocket. So I had to put myself, I had to buy my own ticket, put myself up in my own hotel for a hope that I get it. And I didn't know the magnitude of what Power was at that time. It had just gone off on season 1.
Okay, so what do you know at this point? You just know, like, all right, this is 50, because Power didn't really start getting crazy until like season 3, 2.5, 3. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, 50 got a show. Okay, that could be cool. Right. I didn't know. I was like, whatever, you know. But let's try it. But I remember a couple of my friends was like, dog, I guarantee you this show's gonna be the best show on TV like in 2 years. You have to go. Because my roommates in Atlanta, I was living in Atlanta at the time. Okay. So my mans and them basically were the reason why I went. So I went, put myself on tape, didn't hear anything back in 3 weeks. So I'm paying money
to staying in
LA.
Right.
But in that time period, I had recorded a record called Lotto that I had. And so that's kind of what it was, and I started working on Jeep music.
So you created Lotto out west
when you were out there? When I was waiting.
Okay.
And I did the What We Do record while I was waiting.
Okay.
And I created Living Foul while I was waiting.
Okay.
So it was things that like,
still working,
it was
though,
God's plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so I was still working. So anyways, I get the call back and they're like, yo, the reason why it took so long was because we were basically comparing your tape to everybody else's. So they narrowed it down to 3. I didn't know that Courtney, who created the show, she was a fan of Boss. So she was
familiar with you.
She watched me while she was creating Power.
Oh, that's fire.
So she was like, oh snap, like I want to work with that kid eventually, you know what I mean? And so she was so excited, she didn't know I would be available at the time. So anyways, I go in for the audition and I'm like, yo, I can't be told no one more time. So I brought props. I dressed up like this.
Fake bricks in there.
Fake bricks, nigga. I had toilet paper rolled up as a cigarette. I did everything. And I was Dre. You know what I'm saying? That was me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, what can I do to make myself stand out? And that was what I did, man, and no one else was doing that. But yeah, it was dope, man. It was just dope seeing where the character is going and is. And I knew that she was gonna do this, but I just had to be prepared for the work, man. It's a blessing to be on like a legendary show for sure.
Like I said, the streets is hating Dre right now, but
of course, yeah.
But it's like Ghost was doing all of that stuff. Like he set 50 up, he did all that. You know what I'm saying? He's ratted on 50. So Dre is just, you know, he doing what he gotta do.
Wasn't his friend. It was competition. Right. He got rid of him. Listen, you know what I mean? So it's what was it?
I like Dre. That's all I'm gonna say. I know y'all hate her. I like Dre. In the streets, it ain't no rules. That's how they playing. But I'm just saying, it's like, like I said, the way I felt it when he was just like, yo, I want to be the biggest damn drug dealer in New York. I felt that in my soul. Like, damn. I felt that in my soul when he said that. Now, how does it feel on the streets with people like look at you as Dre, right? Yeah. They don't see Rotimi like this. Yeah. Like I was in SOBs maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. And I saw Tyreek in there. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, where the lean at, man? I know you know what I mean? It feels like authentic. Like this is like I feel like I know these guys. Yeah. How was that for you? Just kind of being on the streets and people are like talking to you as not yourself, but the character.
Well, it's cool. I don't think I'm in a cool place right now because when I walk, I either hear, oh snap, that's Rotimi. Yeah. Oh, that's Nigerian sexy butterscotch. Oh, that's Dre. Right. Oh my God. So it's like a cool place to be because it's so many angles right now that people are developing. Like, yo, it's either, yo, I hate Dre, but I love your music. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And all in all, it's all love, you know. But it's just like it's interesting because they just are so confused on what to gravitate towards, which is dope. So, I mean, you embrace it because that means you're doing your job. You know, I'm doing my job very well if I'm affecting people like that. But it's all like everything is all love, man.
So when people die on the show, how did like was there like an email that just gets circulated? Everybody CC'd. Like, how do you know? Because when Raina died, I was kind of like, damn. Like they don't really shoot kids on TV. I was like, oh shit. Like when. Because they gonna get you. They gonna get you. Yeah, they gonna get. I don't know what part. They gonna get you though. Mm-hmm. Okay. But when that happens, like, how does the transition of like, hey, you're not gonna be on the show anymore? How does that kind of work?
And I love that everybody doubts Dre. I love that. But But no, that's what makes the show so dope. But no, what I heard, because it hasn't happened, but what I've heard is that it's like you go to Courtney's office and you sit at her desk and she breaks it to you.
Damn.
It's like a dark room with like a red light.
Oh, that that hurts. Little violins in the background.
On the left side.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what I mean? She's smoking a cigar. Nah,
kilos.
But we find out when we read the script.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We find out at the table.
It's like a weekly kind of reading?
Oh, sorry. So we have table reads.
Okay.
So we sit down every week to read the script so we can hear how it sounds together with everybody.
Right.
So when we do that, I'll be sitting next to somebody that might be dying. And it's like, awkward. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, it's like, these are your friends for so long. You know what I mean? So at that point, you just wish them the best. And, you know, but it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, dog. That's what makes the show so highly rated. You know?
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So tell me a role that you really wanted and didn't get. Like, that you was like, damn, I want this shit bad. I want this so bad.
And that happened, or what I want? Or
that kind of happened already. Like, it was something like, ooh, I wanted this.
You know what? I'll be real. It was at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, when I auditioned for Hakeem for Empire. And I basically had gotten it. You know what I mean? And so...
It's a hell of a choice you made.
You know, it was one of those things where it's just like, dang, I really wanted that. You know? But again, everything happens for the right reason, you know?
100%.
And shout out to Empire, because they broke down so many doors for, you know, black shows and just shows in general.
Cable television.
Cable television, you know, so it's fly what they did. But that's one I wanted. Star Wars.
Ooh, you got a Star Wars?
Man, bro, I had 8 auditions for Star Wars.
Wow.
8 auditions
for the same role, like kind of just reoccurring.
For the same role, for the one that John Boyega has. It was.
Wow.
I wanted that one, but I had to turn that down because I thought I had gotten Empire at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a
kind
whole
of timing and the schedule.
So it wasn't, both weren't meant for me. You know, this was meant for me, but. Yeah, man, those are the 2 I'd say like I really, really wanted bad.
All right.
Really, really wanted bad.
I think another thing is interesting, like we mentioned that, you know, just your kind of role models and people that are mentored you in the game, you know, obviously 50 has, you know, been a big impact on you. And I also heard that like Jamie Foxx, man, has been like played a crucial role just in terms of your development, man. Like, can you kind of talk about that a little bit? Like, first of all, where did you even meet Jamie Foxx at to kind of get that?
So Jamie is another one that really didn't study to be an actor.
Yeah.
It's just he was just given a gift. You know what I mean? He's just one of the most talented individuals ever. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I was in a club in 2012, and some dude with a beard tapped me on my shoulder and he's like, "Yo, man, I'm a fan of yours." So it's dark. I don't know who this person is.
Right.
He's like, "Yo, I'm a fan. Like, I love your work. I love the Boss show, and it's amazing." So I'm like, "Who's this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's Jamie." So he was filming Django at the time.
Oh, so he had the whole...
So I didn't know.
So he just recognized you.
He recognized me in the club in 2000.
I hope he wasn't in Gen Pop. You had a section all like Jamie walking around. That's crazy.
I was actually partying with some of my boys who play on the Clippers.
Oh, okay.
So he knew the same people.
Yeah.
So he tapped me like, "Yo, like, bro, like, you and your peoples tomorrow. We watching the playoff game in my house. Y'all are invited. Come through, man."
Yeah.
He was like, "I love seeing young black talent. Let's build."
Right.
So I went the next day, man, and we never left, man. It was like so much knowledge that he was giving me, and then he found out I did music, so he was like, "Oh man, I gotta breed you to be my little,
absolutely,
you know, protege, man."
That's amazing.
So he took me in, and the relationship never ended, man. Like, if I go to LA, even if he's not there, you know, his house is my house. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of brotherhood, man.
And is it the same kind of dynamic with 50 and how he's
just... 50 even so, like, more so, like, you know, I see him every day too.
Yeah.
But 50 is the one that put the pen to the paper and made it official, you know, and I'm forever grateful for him, man. Like, and just to be a part of that lineage, man, like that whole circle of people, like Eminem found him, that whole lineage of Dre, and then 50, you know, it's like, oh wow, like it's a cool family tree to be a part of, you know what I mean? So it's dope, man. And then for him to be, you know, the one that kind of took me and embraced me is awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that, man. So and do this, man. Like, so lastly, just I guess what's next for Rotimi? Like, you got the project out. Yeah. I know you got Shooting Power the next season, and where do you kind of go from here? What's next?
Man, I'm gonna start working on Jeep Music Volume 2. That's gonna be
same girl. You gonna have to date her again to get some new. No. You got to get back with her to get some new material or something.
No. I think this is my life now.
Okay.
What I'm seeing now, like, you know, with fake friends, with real friends, with groupies, with this, with that, with the industry, sometimes feeling alone, whatever it is, like, I want to talk about being a new celebrity. And that's what G Music Volume 2 is going to be about. So then, once I finish filming, I'm going to do my own headline tour, you know, next year, like February, March, do my own thing. And just keep moving, man, get in a dope movie or two.
Yeah.
And, you know, just vibe. But again, I just go with the flow. Everything's already written, man.
I hear that, brother. Yo, listen, if y'all need a little extra to stand on the side in power, you know what I mean? A little driver or something. Let me know. You know what I mean? But nah, yo, Rotimi, I appreciate you, brother, coming through. Hey, this is Cigar Talk. We had a very special episode. I hope you received these gems that we got here today. We're going to make sure y'all get this footage updated on YouTube.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Yes, sir. Respect.